guys, it's Tally. For those of you who are new to my channel or aren't familiar with my blog, I've spent the last year and a half of my life making changes, both big and small, to become a happier, more fulfilled, less angry, less stressed person. And I've had a lot of experiences along the way that I've really learned from, and I want to share with the world with the hope that somebody can benefit from them as well. And at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of crap floating around on the internet that we could all use a good perspective shift or some encouraging words every now and then. So today I'm talking about how to make friends as an adult in 3 pretty simple steps. And before I get into the 3 very simple steps of how to make friends as an adult, I want to ask you guys, what is the most unique way that you've ever made a friend? Share it below, I'd love to hear it. Personally, my experience was I went to Cancun this past December with my family. We were at a resort. All of us were doing some activity together, and we all had to say our names before we started the competition. And then afterwards, there were these 2 girls from Toronto who went up to me and they were like, "Hey, are you Israeli?" Because they heard both me and my brother say my name. But anyway, we ended up talking and I spent basically the rest of the vacation with them. We're planning another vacation in December. They're fantastic, and that's just because, you know, those 2 girls had the courage to come up to a total stranger and just start a conversation. So that's my answer. What's the most unique way that you've ever made a friend? Post it below. I would love to hear. So learning how to make friends as an adult has been one of the biggest game changers in my life since leaving college. Now, I graduated a few years ago and found myself in a situation where basically I was spending a majority of my time with my then boyfriend. I wasn't really happy with my friendships. I hadn't prioritized them because I was in a long-term relationship. So I had lost some friends. Some of my friends had moved after college. Some of my friends I just had grown apart from and wasn't really interested in being friends with anymore because our lifestyles had changed so much. And then there were also friends that unfortunately, while I thought we were very close, they weren't really putting in, one particular girl wasn't really putting in close to the same amount of time and effort that I was putting into our friendship. So I found myself in this situation where I was spending most of my time with my then boyfriend and I didn't really have a whole lot of girlfriends. It was a really big part of my life that I realized was missing. And that's actually becoming more and more of a common situation, especially for young adults, millennials. People are constantly moving to new cities, people are starting new jobs. When you graduate college, you're going through a big life transition, especially if your friends are moving away or you're moving away. We're much more frequently in situations where we need to make new friends, but we don't really talk about this challenge nearly enough, especially when you compare it to how much conversation we have around dating, relationships, sex, marriage. There's this much conversation about friendships and how to be a good friend, how to make new friends especially, and this much conversation about how to find your partner, dating tips for Tinder in the modern world. Not a lot of conversation about friendships. That really bothers me. I feel like that's a reflection on our society not prioritizing friendships enough and over prioritizing romantic relationships, but that's another video. There's lots of situations where you might find yourself in need of new friends, and so I wanted to make this video because while it's really scary and while it's really daunting and it feels really awkward to say, I want to make new friends, I want to make more friends, I want to make different friends or closer friends, it's really pretty simple if you really boil it down and be strategic about it. 3 very simple steps to making friends as an adult. And some of these are cheesy, but play along with it because it's working for me. I've made so many friends, so many different types of friends. I'm just over the moon about some of the friendships that I've created, and I just feel like I can live a much more fulfilled, rich life. So step 1, this is a cheesy one. Make a list of things that you want out of your friendship. And don't skip this step because you want to think about this is a great opportunity for you to invite more people into your life, but you do want to be selective about the type of people you're inviting into your life because you are most like the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. So you gotta think about, be a bit intentional about who you want to invite in your life and why and what that has to contribute to your life. This isn't to be picky, it's to be intentional. So think about your lifestyle, think about, are you single? Are you married? Are you in a relationship? Are you super into your career? Do you like to go out on weekends? Do you like to take random road trips? Are you an entrepreneur? Do you like to hang out with friends every single day? Are you more of a explore the city and go on hikes kind of person? Do you like to just hang out inside and maybe go to the local bar every now and then? Think about those things and think about also where you want to be in life. So if you're kind of a homebody but you want to become the type of person who's more active, you know, who goes on hikes and goes biking and does really cool things, then think about maybe finding some friends who are like you, but also some friends that you want to be like that you want to emulate, that you want to learn from and kind of adapt their lifestyle as well. Do you just need to make some more friends who like to go out and dance more often? Or are you looking for friends who, you can just turn to and have really deep conversations with, and just you can trust with absolutely everything? Do you want somebody to just do a book club with? Maybe explore new interests and creative Pinteresty things? Not that those things have to be mutually exclusive. You can be all of those things, and not that you have to pick one over the other, like you only make friends that you're really close to but don't like to go out. You don't need to do that, but more just to get an idea of what are your priorities, what are you looking for a friendship, what do you want to attract, because the more you know what you want to attract, the more likely you are to actually see that in a person and go, ah, that's somebody I want to spend time with, or no, not a really huge fan of that lifestyle, don't know if we can get along quite as much, maybe I'm gonna put that friendship a bit more on the back burner. Think about, how do you want to feel around them? Do you want to feel super girly because you love shopping and doing your makeup and getting all glammed up? Do you want to feel like you can, go eat a ton of food and unbuckle your belt at the end of the day and just be fatties together? Because I love that shit. If you love that shit, we can be friends. Do you want to feel like super inspired and motivated? Do you want to feel like, oh, at the end of the day you can kind of say, oh, so much crap happened in my life, and kind of be able to vent to somebody about that? How do you want to feel around them? And also think about not just what that friendship can bring into your life, but what you can bring into a friendship, what you have to contribute. Are you the type of person who anybody can call at 3 a.m. and you're there to pick them up from wherever they are in trouble and bail them out? Are you a really, really good listener? Are you the type of person who just gets somebody's confidence up if they're feeling really shitty? Do you just make plans spontaneously and can, arrange really cool events for your friends? Or you can be the person who initiates everything? What do you have to bring to friendships? So the goal of this is to kind of narrow down, like, here's what I'm looking for. Here are the types of friends that I'd like to make based on my lifestyle and where I want to be. So you can kind of narrow that down and attract the kind of people that you need into your life, but also that you have something to bring to the table to them, so you know your own value and you can bring that into the friendship. Step number 2, go out of your way to meet new people. This is stupid simple, I realize that, but it can be really fucking hard, especially if you're shy and introverted. I realize I have a much easier time with this, but it still makes me really nervous to go out and meet new people, to go somewhere by myself, not knowing anybody, with the intention of just walking up to somebody and talking. It can be really hard, so I'll give that to you. But there's a lot of different ways that you can meet people, especially in the technological age. Wow, I feel like an old person saying that. But it's true. There's plenty of ways that you can go out and intentionally make friends, not just run into somebody on the street accidentally, and you can be proactive about it. My number 1 has been Bumble BFF. Bumble is a dating app, kind of like Tinder, where you swipe right, swipe left. You both have to match each other to start talking, but Bumble also has a BFF feature, which I actually used before I ever got into the dating side of Bumble. And so basically you're swiping through potential friends, and there's other women, there's other girls, you can see their age, you can see their job, and they post a little blurb and have some photos, and you match. And when you match, you can have a conversation, you can meet up for coffee, for drinks, you can go out, and it's like dating, except for friends. So it's also easier because you don't have to get yourself ready. I've made several friends from there, and from those friends I met their friend groups, and it was fantastic. I met one girl who moved here recently, went to go get coffee with her. The next weekend I was at her bachelorette party meeting like all of her friends. I'm friends with her friends. It's fantastic. That's happened to me several times where I've met a girl through Bumble, and then I've maybe met her other girlfriends, or maybe I've introduced a girl I met from Bumble to my girlfriends, and now she has. It ends up being an exchange of different friends. It's fantastic. There's Meetup. Meetup is also an app. It's more for groups. There's different groups around your areas with different interests or different activities that they do, and you join the different groups, and then you can keep an eye out on the events that happen. You can go with another friend to the events. Now, when you go to a Meetup event, I really recommend that you go alone. Not because it's bad to go with friends necessarily, but when you go alone to things, it really actually forces you to go and meet people, and it makes you a lot more approachable as well if you don't have like a clique or somebody else that you're already hanging out with. It's really scary, but it's a lot easier to actually start those conversations, because you're like, well, I can either text here awkwardly on my phone, or I can walk up to this person and see if a conversation is going to work out. It's also not as weird as you think to actually go somewhere alone. If somebody asks you like, hey, are you here with a friend? Did you come alone? You can always say, yeah, I was planning on going with my friend, but she ended up ditching out, or she had XYZ to do. Usually people aren't weird about people like others showing up alone. I feel like actually when somebody finds out that you went somewhere alone, if they like went with friends or something, it's always like, oh my gosh, that's actually really cool, because they're kind of afraid to do it. Those are two really great ways to meet people. Other ways, you can Google make friends in insert your city here and just see what pops up. There might be people who have written blog posts about it, or you can find stuff on Reddit as well. You can either read up on actual suggestions, or you can meet people who have maybe written about recently moving. Volunteering, always a really great way to make friends. Intramural sports, if you're into sports, which I'm not, we have a cool thing here called Underdog. This is kind of a weird one, but you know what, YOLO, go talk to people that you seem interested in. Maybe it's at the gym, maybe you're just taking some sort of like fitness class, or like a creative type, like paint and sip type of class. You can walk up to people in your apartment, like go up and talk to people. I do this all the time, It gets easier every time. And I've rarely ever gotten like a weird look like, why is this bitch talking to me? People are relieved. People are excited when you go up to talk to them, because they're like, oh my gosh, wait, this person thought I looked cool enough to actually talk to? Like, true story. People get excited when you come up and talk to them. If you display interest in what they're doing, people are excited to make new friends. We're just all really fucking awkward about each other. Get over it, walk up to somebody, make their fucking day. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You just practice the skill that you'll get better at next time with. There's really no losing in this situation, unless they're a serial killer, in which case they were probably already planning your death anyway. Say yes more than you say no. Say yes to going to different events and meeting new people and like going on friend dates more than you say no. Like, no is your worst case scenario, somebody died in your family. Like, go out of your way, make yourself really uncomfortable, it will pay off. You'll learn how to be more comfortable in those kinds of situations. You'll meet people. That's how change happens. Change happens when you're uncomfortable. Don't say no unless it's really something that you don't jive with. Resist the temptation to say no because you're afraid it might be awkward. Because things will be awkward. I've had some like awkward experiences where I've stuck with somebody for several hours. And I'm alive. Create a group. If you're making new friends, create a group on Facebook and just of people adding each other and mingling, like an activity group or something. People, young adults living in the area, somebody makes an event, people show up. We have a huge one, there's like 200 people in it. Different girls from all over the city who have different interests, and everybody, you know, you basically start adding friends that you make through these different avenues and say, hey, I just wanted to make a group for planning different events and activities. Honestly, everyone will thank you. You become the coolest person because you initiated like, hey, here's a way to meet other people. Basically say, hey, I made this group because it's easier to coordinate events and we can meet each other and we all seem like cool people. So create an event in the group, like maybe you can do a brunch or happy hour or like girls' night out dancing, and people will show up. It's super simple. You put yourself out there a little bit. People are always super grateful for people who initiate social functions, so you're gonna be a star anyway. Like, you're gonna make friends and people are gonna love you because you just created a way for them to meet other people. Like, it's brilliant. So that's step number 2, go out of your way to meet people. And step number 3, be open, be grateful, and follow up. Make making and keeping friends a priority in your life. So commit to saying, hey, once a week I'm gonna go on a Bumble BFF date, or once a month I'm gonna go to a meetup group event. Or maybe once a month I'm gonna try a new activity, like a fitness class or something, and force myself to talk to somebody who I think is really cool. Like, really commit to that, say it, write it down, make it happen. But make it a priority. Don't just say, oh, it'd be great to make more friends, and then flip through Bumble BFF and make a bunch of matches, but don't actually go out of your way to make those friends. Meet your friends' friends. Best way to make friends. If one of your new friends is talking about how she went to brunch or she went to this museum with a couple of her other friends, say like, oh, that sounds super cool. Let me know when you're doing that again. I'd love to join, or like I'll initiate or something. Like, you can be super awkward and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to invite myself to that, but then they'll invite you and then they'll be like, oh, you're super cool. Yeah, and it's like, guys, like, this works for me and I'm not super cool, so it's like it can totally work for the rest of you, I promise. The last part of that, be grateful and follow up. Seriously, this is huge. You don't have to like text the person and be like, I'm so glad you're in my life now after the first, you know, Bumble BFF date. But you know, once you've actually met the person a few times and it's like obvious that you guys are going to be friends, let that person know, like, hey, I'm so glad we swiped on each other, like we swiped right on each other, or like, I'm so glad we actually like exchanged numbers that one time at the gym. Like, you're totally awesome. Like, I'm really glad that we're friends now. It sounds really weird to you, but can you imagine having somebody say to you, like, I'm so glad we're friends, you're super cool. Can you imagine how amazing you'd feel if somebody said that to you? Then just flip it and say that to the person that you're making friends with, and think about why you appreciate them and tell them why you appreciate them. You know, don't be creepy about it, but you can definitely like say like, hey, you're super cool. We need more of that kind of stuff in our life. So that's it. Those are my 3 simple steps for how to make friends as an adult. If you found these helpful, please let me know in the comments below, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future, because this is the kind of video I love to make.